enough to experience every human emotion like compassion, empathy, and but for every headline like
what's up guys, your girl VIP Panda. So today we're going to dive into some more Casual Geographic. I haven't done one of these in a while. The top 10 animals with Black Air Force energy. You guys already know we react to CJ the Champ videos with Black Air Force energy. So it's only appropriate that we do ones with animals. I gotta see this list. And if you guys have any video suggestions, you already know, leave it down in the comment section below. Or you can follow me on my Instagram. I'm mainly active on there. I'm a cosplayer. I also do music, so check me out. Thanks. Alright guys, and without further ado, let's go. Oh no, not Roger! Shout out if you guys know the Tekken reference.
Black.
Oh, you forgot to see the Champ intro.
Good old Urban Dictionary defines it as a person or an object that has insane potential and is crazy enough to deal with anything without fear or
Sephiroth, Final Fantasy, Escanor,
including its own rivals or competitors. And despite clearly taking grammar lessons from NBA YoungBoy, I'd say whoever wrote that was pretty on point.
Hilarious.
It's a term I use a lot in my videos without really explaining exactly what it is. So here's a full list of the top 10 animals.
Yo, this is gonna be a W vid. Oh damn.
Some animals are an obvious pick, others might just surprise you.
What the?
But they've all earned their spot, including the animal at number 10, which might have the least clout of any animal on this list, but that's only because it's found one place in the world. Because if this bird were airdropped across the globe, it'd definitely be more known for all the wrong reasons.
What is that? Okay, we're playing Who's That Animal?
Starting off is what happens when an animal is too smart for everyone else's
hawk?
quality of life. The Kia is a large parrot that can be found terrorizing the people of New Zealand. And don't let it fool you, this Black Air Force with a Grinch colorway is an op-in everywhere. They're highly intelligent and armed with a hook-shaped beak, which is the perfect tool for Kias to inflate insurance by picking apart cars.
Wait a minute!
The Kia is smart enough to associate people and the cars we drive with food, which is why this anti-mechanic is famous for committing the cutest carjackings you'll ever see. Of course, they don't just stop at cars. This feather felon will go through purses, backpacks, duffel bags, and swipe anything they can fly away with. There was even a case where this airborne pirate stole the passport of a Scottish man that didn't want to be identified. No one wants to be remembered for getting denied from your home country because you got your passport pickpocketed by a
Can you imagine that?
It happened to him and it can happen to you. But guess what? If you happen to get your wallet snatched and try to see the Kia about it, be prepared to also eat a several $1,000 fine and even jail time.
These are the type of birds that'll take your whole pizza, bro.
Kias are protected by the government because it only makes sense that something with wings would be above the law. And it's almost like every Kia knows it and acts accordingly. But it's not just humans getting griefed. Kias will regularly raid other birds' nests and make omelets with their unborn children. And they'll use that Swiss Army knife of a nose to remove parts of a living sheep to eat. And there have been reports of them victimizing dogs and even horses. But at least the Kia isn't a legitimate physical threat to people. The next animal's responsible for putting more zookeepers on workers' comp than any other animal.
Okay, I thought Kia, that's why, is that why the car's named after those?
The African wilderness has some of the most ways to F around and find out per square mile in the world.
Fuck around and find out!
It makes sense that living in the most dangerous area codes in the world has turned the zebra into an actual psychopath. This oppressed warrior horse has the strongest kick in the animal kingdom.
That's a barcode.
Strong enough for Marty to have written Alex out of the sequel. Which is why, even though lions body them often, every once in a while a lion has to explain to his ancestors how he got flatlined by a high-strung quality dog. But the generational anxiety of being constantly hunted means the zebra will often one-shot something for existing too close to it. There's two reasons why you won't see a person riding a zebra. One, they're too small. And two, every zebra is fundamentally a bastard to its core. No, like literally. Because many mother zebras will actually mate with as many males as possible, because if she's showing and he suspects it's not hers, he'll violently press her until it's terminated. And if the baby's already out, that's just an invitation for him to demote her from mother to mourning. And going back to humans, zebras are infamous for allegedly putting as many zoo staff in the ER
Look at the way that dude's getting dragged.
They may look like horses whose favorite part of a birthday is the finger painting station, but this panda pony's liable to paint the block with their insides if you breathe at them the wrong way. Treat one like a barnyard animal and negotiate your left hand. And because zebras are genetically closer to donkeys than horses, calling it the ass of Africa is a scientifically accurate title. And as the default protein of many of the landlords of the savannah, it's a title they hold with pride, because it's the best one they can get.
Number 8, what do we got? Let me guess, lion?
Deer managed to cause billions of dollars in damage a year by playing freeze tag with cars. Yo! And that ironically makes them the most dangerous animal.
Bro, I was driving to the gym and tell me why this big ass deer runs right in front of my car and I almost hit it. I was like, yo, this was gonna be the end, but luckily I missed.
But where blissful ignorance
I don't know about the guy in front of me though.
The deer of down under initiate conflict. 9 out of 10 car accidents in Australia involve kangaroos, and a good number of them are premeditated and not by the driver. Kangaroos assault vehicles with enough regularity to commit insurance fraud.
Oh no! Oh, nah.
In fact, kangaroos will regularly beef with inanimate objects. But it's not just a bluff. These are some brolic marsupials, armed with claws, but more importantly, a sharp dagger of atonement.
Golly,
which is why it's not a
bro.
kangaroo's punch you have to worry about, but that Jurassic pedicure disembowelment. It's what makes their sparring sessions so lethal. That and the fact that kangaroos start every day
Hey,
with the
kangaroos
specific
are
goal
cool,
of inconveniencing
though.
as many life forms as possible.
They
if you happen
cool
to
as
fly a
hell.
German kangaroo,
Oh, hell
prepare to have
no.
your insurance tested. In fact, it's not a stretch to say they hate anything that flies. Can you imagine how ridiculous this could have gotten? Imagine people thinking you died paragliding when really you survived but got mobbed by a pack of kangaroos are number 8.
Yo, what the? What?
You see, as
Yo, you
dangerous as
see
Australia
that?
is, there aren't
You
live,
see
but got
him?
mobbed by a
Look at
pack of
that.
rabbits on
Look
their
at his
back.
hand.
Kangaroos are number 8 because there's really no good reason for this. You see, as dangerous as Australia is, there aren't really any dominant
I'm
apex land
over
predators.
it.
While kangaroos often
I
contend with
can't.
dingoes and the occasional wedge-tailed
What
eagle,
the
a full-grown kangaroo doesn't have much that can threaten it, other than a bigger kangaroo.
Kangaroos
so
are
my
cool.
working theory is, they got cocky. And until nature airdrops some bears or maybe some type of big cat,
Airdrops them?
kangaroos are still going to be out here thinking they can do whatever.
You gonna
Try
push
to
them?
change their mind at your own risk. As on-site as these malicious macropods are, they're not even the most disrespectful animal in Australia.
What
And
is he
believe me,
doing? He's
we'll get to that.
scratching? Oh no, it gets worse each and
Big
every
Five refers to
time.
the top 5 most dangerous animals to hunt.
What, we
in
got
Africa.
cheetah?
These include the elephant, the rhinoceros, the lion,
Okay.
the leopard, and an animal so feared it's been nicknamed
Hyena?
Black Death.
What
The
is this?
African Cape buffalo is
What
a walking
the-
attempted homicide case armed with a pair of horns to make most attempts successful. They have one of the highest KD ratios against humans with guns. In some places, these tanks with road rage and 50% of the people they go after, and a lot of that is because they will actively seek revenge. There have been stories of one buffalo murking the same hunter that took out a member of its own herd. And whether you're a lion or a hunter, these trench cows get it back in blood.
Trench
and the
cow?
scariest version of a Cape buffalo is one that's already been injured. Hunters have followed a mortally
Oh,
wounded
is that
buffalo
fight or
into a
flight?
big brush, only for the freight train with legs to circle back
it's
and
over, it's
ambush them
over.
from behind.
Oh,
Which is why the number one rule when hunting
menace.
Cape buffalo, assume you only have one shot because that's usually all you get. But
Whoa.
it's not just humans getting bodied. Bloodlusting buffalo will seek out unsupervised lion cubs and log them out of life before they can grow up to be a threat. Not like the adults aren't at risk either. Capes will stalk and circle lone lions, using the threat of gang violence to give Mufasa a roommate. Which is how the same apex predator that can solo multiple hyenas can get sent up a tree like a house cat. They're like
Long
the Liam
live
Neeson
the
of animals.
king.
Wrong them and they make their life's mission to co-sign your obituary.
Yo!
That first hit was self-defense. Everything after that was a personal choice. And even though experienced lions can take them down, it's still very much a gamble.
Oh,
Especially since they
shit.
can travel in herds of hundreds. That's also how they earned the nickname Widowmaker. Because right now there's at least one woman on Tinder because her husband decided to hunt a 1-ton vibe check while the buffalo decided that would be the day he'd finally live up to his
Damn,
nickname.
bro,
It's
look
a
at
murderous
them.
mammal, but like the
Ooh.
zebra, it's often just self-defense gone way too far. Not like the antics of the next animal.
The next animal. Uh-oh, the music
If
gets
you're
more
talking about the Black Air
intense.
Force of the sky, you're probably
The
talking
crow?
about crows, or really just corvids in general. Crows are smart enough to manipulate their environment to their advantage.
I feel like
but
ravens
they're
are a
also
little bit more
devious enough to
scarier.
manipulate other animals for their
Thick.
own sadistic pleasure. I don't know what that crow said to that cat.
Oh
but it
my
certainly
gosh,
involved someone's
never
mind.
mind.
Ravens will weaponize their relationship with wolves.
Yeah,
to call out
ravens,
hits
that's
on
what we call it.
competing
Yeah,
coyotes.
that's what I'm
Crows in
talking about.
Tokyo have especially become a problem where they've basically gone to war
Oh.
against the entire human population.
Bro,
But
when I was living in Japan, these freaking ravens, they do that, bro. They'll swoop down on you, bro. Like on, I don't know what's going on with the birds over there, but they lethal.
it's not just humans getting bullied. There might not be a worse time
Oh
to be an
no,
owl
the
than
baby
in broad
owl,
daylight
no.
surrounded by a murder of crows.
Oh,
Not to
no.
mention crows will often raid the nests of other birds for a disturbingly literal kids meal. And that's when they're
Isn't
not
that-
just straight up snatching minors in front of their parents.
Oh
I think
my
EDP just found a spirit animal.
No,
They'll regularly mob and harass other
EDP.
birds until they drop the food they've already caught. And crows won't hesitate to beat on much larger birds of prey, which might explain why they do the exact
These
same thing with humans to get them to surrender whatever calories they have.
These are pretty
But the
crows,
avian
though. Most of them are
onslaught peaks out
ugly.
with the Australian magpie. Now, turns out they're not actually corvids.
Magpie?
They actually sit closer to another bird with psychopath tendencies. Either way, Australian magpies manage to be the most feared thing in a
What is
country
this?
seasoned with crocs, cassowaries, and snakes.
I like that.
And while most wildlife is harmless as long as you respect their space, the earth is their space, and they have no patience
Everything
for
that, like,
trespassing.
touches is
to the point
mine.
where many Australians have taken to wearing helmets to protect themselves from the magpie's malicious intent, especially during swooping season, where magpies will relentlessly attack anything that gets
hell
near their nest.
no.
Actual human lives have been lost to this goth Tweety's
No, it
cancer.
hasn't.
And since corvids can remember faces, once you've been swooped, you can expect the same treatment next year. I think
No.
Tears said it best. Corvids are what would happen if you gave monkeys wings. But at least in the magpie's case, they're only a legitimate threat to a human way of life for the roughly 6 weeks of swooping season. Next animal is one of the biggest dangers to humans all year round.
Which one? Oh no, okay, the music's getting really, really
It was
intense
really only a
now.
matter of time before the river
Hippo!
rhino made an appearance. Widely considered the world's deadliest mammal, you may have noticed that hippos weren't included
Yo,
in the
the
big
hippos
five.
are-
I have to assume that's because nobody that has a desire to see the next day would actually hunt them. Arguably,
Hippos are
no
scary
animal has
looking.
a harder working PR team than the hippopotamus. First of all, it's not the goofy lardonkey it lets you think it is.
It is
a thin
cute.
subcutaneous fat layer means
Why are all these
hippos
animals
actually
cute?
walking units. And despite their awkward appearance, hippos can outpace any human over short
Damn, look
distances,
at this
and increase on land
motherfucker!
and in water, where they somehow become even more territorial. Hippos have been known to lower the census totals of other
Oh,
animals
look at
for
this dude.
seemingly
Oh,
no
bro.
reason. Just when
Go,
an animal
go.
thinks it's been bailed out, the slaughter horse does origami
Oh.
with its spine. And even though they're supposed to be herbivores, every once in a
No,
while they'll get into
ears.
the temptation of tasting the flesh of their victims. Cannibalism is not off the table. Science doesn't really know why exactly they do this, but
Hell
science doesn't account for an animal just being
no.
a dick. Few predators will press this obese water pig, and those that do so at their own risk. Hippos are so carnage happy that the biggest threat to a baby hippo is a bigger, meaner bull hippo. It's how a hippo baby shower can legitimately end in a rain of flesh confetti. Now, to be fair, plenty of animals resort to infanticide. Hippos are just really mean about it. Like I said, nobody's PR team works harder, except
Oh,
maybe
okay.
dolphins.
Oh.
Which makes sense since despite resembling ungulates like warthogs and rhinos, the hippo's closest living relatives are actually cetaceans like dolphins and whales. But instead of making it out in the ocean,
Ooh.
hippos decided to make a living griefing everything in its area.
He
code.
really
And I didn't
bodied a
even mention the way
crocodile
they
like
claim
that? Or
area
alligator or
code.
whatever? What's the difference between alligator and crocodile? Oh, is that doodle? I know he
You
didn't
know,
just
if you
fling his doodle,
unsubscribe right
bro.
now, I wouldn't blame you. The only thing that can make this whale Karen more of
Yo.
a menace than it already is if it were a straight up predator, or if it hunted in packs.
Hell
Then again, that would
no.
literally make it an animal further
Look how
down
big this
list.
one is. Uh-oh, I got the DK. What is this, the 8?
My personal bias
Oh.
is not going to keep the elephant off this list.
What?
As
Elephant
much as I
came
love
after
them, elephants
the-
can be a devastating combination of smart
hippo?
enough to do anything and big enough to get away with it.
Oh!
Asian elephants especially get themselves into trouble by raiding villages and emptying
Wait
out
a
the rice
minute.
supply, which is why Asian elephants are responsible for the bulk of human hashtags, especially since they can be just as vengeful as the Cape buffalo.
The
Earlier
Asian
this year, a man in
elephant.
Thailand had an elephant working hauling wood in the brutal heat, which is illegal. And apparently the elephant knew his rights because he proceeded to rip his boss in half. And of course, we gotta address the I'm better than
The
that.
elephant
One
in
elephant
the
traveled
room.
over 100 miles to murk a 70-year-old woman collecting water, only to pull up to her funeral to attack the soul evicted body, this time
No,
in front
he
of her
didn't.
family.
No, he
The biggest
didn't.
mystery of mankind is what motivated a 4-ton pachyderm to pack up an elderly woman twice.
No,
He had a reason.
he didn't.
Not like he's gonna tell us. Elephants rank over hippos because where hippos commit war crimes in the heat of passion, when an elephant catches a body, you can
They
almost be
cool as
certain it was
hell.
premeditated.
Oh,
And it's
God.
in populations that have been fragmented by poaching, where young male elephants really fly off the handle. And bull elephants are already pretty high-strung as it is.
Oh, wow.
But they managed to get worse in communities decimated by poaching, to the point where 3 elephants in South Africa were responsible for deleting 63 rhinos as well as charging at people. Now, to be fair, poaching typically targets older bulls, and research shows that without old heads around, younger male elephants go into must a lot sooner than they should. Which I get. What I
Because
don't
his
get
horns
is why that
already
has to involve
broken.
turning a rhino from a tight end to a wideout. What you have to remember is that elephants are intelligent enough to experience every human emotion
gonna
like
smack
compassion,
'em.
empathy, and hope. But for every headline like this, you might get a headline like this.
Oh,
and if elephants wore
no,
shoes, they'd rock
bro.
the biggest black Air Forces the
Damn,
world's
that
ever
thing's
seen. That's only because
huge.
the next animal on this list doesn't have legs.
Doesn't have like a snake?
One of the biggest injustices of cinema is that where dolphins got cast as a lovable
A
flipper,
dolphin?
sharks got typecast as jaws. Dolphins are the most disrespectful beings in the ocean.
What do you
Makes sense because they're basically
mean?
intelligent hydrodynamic
Oh
hippos.
my
They
gosh.
regularly bully sharks, use fish heads and live eels as marital aids, commit unprovoked acts of porpoiside, all while letting humanity think they're the good guys. They have mating practices so brutal that I probably can't
Oh
even
my
talk about them. Just know
God.
that what dolphins like to do to each other, guidelines might try to do to
She
me.
let it
But we
happen
can't talk about
too,
dolphins
bro.
without talking about the biggest dolphin of all. The orca is the most dominant apex predator on the planet
Hey,
that is
yo.
a human. And as if sheer size and intelligence was
I saw this video on Instagram about the orca, and then he had his dingling hanging out. Let's just say it was a very strange sight.
wasn't enough, they typically hunt in pods with
Very,
the coordination of a wolf pack, which
very
is how this
detailed.
oppressive sea oriole regularly griefs the tankiest animals on the planet. They're such a force that great whites have been known to abandon hunting grounds for up to a year once this steroid-quality guppy makes an appearance. Probably because they've been known to use the shark's biology against them to rob them of their heart and liver, just to leave the rest of the shark to sink to the abyss.
That
and
is
then there's the fact that orcas often
crazy.
practice their craft on other animals.
the
Which is why if you
stingray.
ever feel bad about penguins getting bullied by seals, I suggest you see what happens when a Navy
Oh
SEAL
my
joins the Air predators. And while you could chalk this up to hunting strategy, there's also the chance that living life on Roku difficulty means orcas get bored and just start trying stuff. And while it's true a wild orca has never taken out a human, that hasn't stopped them from actively messing with human vessels with disturbing regularity.
They're cool,
it's
but
like
I never want to see that shit. Ever.
Either way, orcas are the humans of this sea, and anything that steps to them gets reminded expeditiously.
Oh,
Even
no!
least of all things. Moral of the story, Free Willy should have been put on parole. The only thing more Black Air Force than an animal that grieves everything around it would be an animal that commits atrocities against its own kind.
They are
and that's
terrifying.
Why orcas are only number 3.
Oh, we're already on 2? What's number 2?
Ask any zookeeper what animal they fear the most. If they don't say chimps, they've never worked with one.
Chimps,
a common misconception
bro.
is that chimps are 5 times stronger than the average man. And while the number is actually closer to 1.5, chimps have more fast twitch muscles, a stronger bite force, and a stronger grip force.
If you guys haven't seen Nope yet, you guys gotta watch it. There's a reason why I'm scared and terrified of chimps.
To use tools
even before that, but that
until
scene,
you realize that means they're able to create and use
oh my
weapons.
gosh!
People often forget that chimpanzees are pack hunting predators able to execute attacks with the precision of early man, and that doesn't just apply to their prey.
What is that they're
Chimps
eating,
in the Luongo
though?
National Park have been documenting attacking families of gorillas and murking any helpless offspring they can get their hands on. Literally no animal safe from the violent tendencies of a furious breed. But it's the damage they inflict against their own kind that puts them over the top. Chimp casualties often share the same injuries.
The
disfigured
teeth,
face, missing fingers if not entire hands, and a non-consensual neutering.
That-
Chimps seem to have an understanding of what's important
Yep.
to an animal, and they go out of their way to remove it. It's why I can show you this picture.
Oh,
and
I saw
you'll
this.
And it's why instead of organ donor, I have, if ever maimed by a chimp, just let me die on my driver's license. And it's also why you probably have a better chance of surviving being locked in a room with a lion than in a room with a furry
Hell
chimp
no,
inside
bro,
of
bro,
the
bro,
fact
bro,
that a chimp
bro.
can get
He
put
got
6 feet
lucky.
under by members of its own troop guarantees them a spot on this list. The only way an animal could beat that is if something was enough of a menace to be a legitimate threat to itself.
What is worse
and
than a
that's
chimp?
exactly what number 1 is.
What's number
but before
1?
we reveal number 1, here's some honorable mentions.
Okay.
The Canadian goose, for having the most irrational confidence of any animal. They actually almost went extinct, and now they revolve their entire existence around punishing humanity for it. Swans, because what geese think they are, swans always have been.
Oh no!
Wolverines, because they're more than capable of hunting for themselves, but they'd rather tax animals 3 times their size for a living. Meerkats, for being quite literally the most homicidal mammals on the planet. And now at number 1, to absolutely no one's surprise,
Which one?
the honey badger, the most unapologetically disrespectful creature on Earth. I have an entire video dedicated to the exploits of this steroid skunk, but here are some highlights.
I'm gonna need to watch that
They'll regularly pinch
one.
food from leopards and then throw a tantrum if
Let me know if you guys want me to watch that one in the comment
they
section.
get caught. They'll take on packs of animals that realistically should be able to one-shot them.
the
But the Oreo weasel has plot armor in the form of crackhead courage. They'll raid the hives of African bees, the same bees that are 10 times meaner and sting 10 times more than their European cousins. And honey badgers aren't immune to bee stings. They're resistant, but enough stings will flatline a honey badger.
Okay.
But ask the honey badger if he cares. He won't answer, but you know the answer. These prison ferrets also run fades with highly venomous cobras. If they manage to get bitten, they'll just slip into a cobra-induced coma and then wake up hours later and walk it off like a Sunday morning hangover. Even the honey badger's idea of self-defense is as offensive as you can get. As in, they'll reverse their anal pouches inside out and release a smell so pungent it can allegedly paralyze attacking bees. And honestly, any animal that religiously attacks the baby makers of others is a different tier of menace. No other badger represented this better than Stoffel, who once escaped from his enclosure and picked a fight with a neighboring family of lions who nearly mauled him to death. After about 2 months in the hospital, the first thing the affiliated ferret did fresh out was go right back at the same lines to settle the score. And that was only one of the hundreds of times Stoffel managed to raise the blood pressure of the people around him. But here's the real kicker. Stoffel was actually hand-raised by humans at a young age and therefore imprinted on him.
Stoffel, what are you doing, man?
The whole thing was just a game to him. Because if blatant disrespect were a sport, they still wouldn't play it because anything involving rules goes against a honey badger's belief system. But that's gonna do it for this video. For more consistent content,
I don't know if he's number
my
1
Instagram
though.
and TikTok. I try to post daily on both. And to further support
I feel
this
like the
channel, my
chimp should have
Patreon's
been
also
number
gonna be in the
1.
description. But also, like, don't feel like you have to give anything. If you watch the video this far, you've already done more than enough. But other than that, drink water, hug your mother. Don't hug a honey badger. It'll never end well. And I'll see you in the next one.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think a honey badger deserves to have number 1 spot, or do you guys feel there's a different animal that should be in this spot? But let me know in the comment section down below. I mean, I can see why he's up there because I mean he flatlining snakes. And then he go and pick fights with cheetahs, and I don't know. But shout out to Casual Geographic for these videos because they're always so detailed and very funny. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to panda punch that like button. It really helps me out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and stick around for more, guys. All right, and until next time,